Welcome to Canal Place. I'm Ron Shea. We're on an eve of another release. This one's Raspberry Light, totally different from all of our other releases. But this is a distribution release. This is another one with the QR code that's going to go directly to this review. So a lot of people outside Summit County and surrounding counties that may not have heard of us are going to scan that and see this review, this beer on the shelf, like, who are these guys? So this is more of an education for you guys to get to know us, who we are, where's Akron, what other beers come out of Akron, and is it worth the trip to take on a weekend to Akron to visit us? So like I said, I'm Ron Shea. We founded, just a brief history, we started a little place about 2,500 square feet in the valley about 5 years ago. 3 years in, we knew we needed a lot more space. And down in the valley, we were only serving out of the tap room and a little bit of to-go. We had a little restaurant. Not a lot of people could fit in. Nothing for distribution. So it was all very Akron-centric. So once we found our Canal Place location to grow up into a big distribution center for Akron, we also said, hey, we know how to run a restaurant now. Let's put in a big restaurant too, kind of make it like a brew dog or one of those big breweries with a giant restaurant, and it's kind of inspiring. Rheingeist inspired me and this build out. If you ever been to Rheingeist in Cincinnati, kind of a similar layout. You got the restaurant on the mezzanine, and you got the brewery below. It's kind of cool. So that's what inspired Canal Place, or at least the concept. So that's a little bit about us. So we're about 5 years old. We're only about a year into distribution. So we're only very brand new to the shelves outside of Akron. So we are reviewing Raspberry Light, and why I said that's different is since we started our releases during COVID, they've all been double New England's, pastry stouts, big, meaty beers with lots of hops or lots of flavor or whatnot. But we, as we came to a brand new season in a distribution cycle, your distribution wants to see what beers you're making in these parts of the year. Some of these are going to be seasonals, some of them are going to be rotators. So we wanted to kind of go towards a different palate, somebody who just wants a light summer crusher or this and that. And our base beer for Raspberry Light is the Arche Light. And we did not have that in the valley. That was an adaptation from one of the valley recipes that some of you may know. It's To Liberty. It was one of our annual July 4th releases. It's kind of a gold type of a Dortmunder lager. We kind of developed it in collaboration with the SAS, Society of Akron Area Zymergist Homebrew Club, specifically Mike Yingling on this one. He kind of tweaked our fermentation profiles, and that's how we did that beer. But when we opened up Canal Place, it's a different demographic. We're in downtown Akron, a lot of businesses. There's going to be a lot of people coming in that may not be craft beer drinkers. So they just want a light, domestic American lager. So, all right, we can make that. So we made Arche Light, and it is one of the more popular beers on the menu. I mean, our New England Three Legends still is a big one. Our West Coast is a big one, but neck and neck, we've got Arche Light, and people love our fruited variants to this. So we started out off the gate for distribution, first time in cans, with Arche Raspberry Light. Now, it's a simple beer, hence the simple name. We didn't get all crazy with this name. This is not a name that I kept in my notebook that I scribbled down when I've drunk a little bit at night and looking through the science articles. Just easy. And it's not, it's a simple beer, but it's just because it's easy to drink, it's light, it's a palate cleanser, it's 4.5%, crush them in the summer, and it's starting to get warm. We just finished a couple of days of the high 60s, low 70s, and the doors off the Jeep. We're drinking a few of these. So sadly, I had to put the doors on today. That's always a sad day. But anyways, the process of this beer, the fermentation's a little bit more complex. We'll get into that, but the base malts for this beer, it's pretty simple. We have primarily Pilsen malts, and for this series, the series with a little Ohio shape on it, it means we are using a lot of local ingredients, specifically West Branch malts out of Brunswick, Ohio. So They provided the Pilsen malts. We use that. The other major component is corn, flaked corn. That lightens the body while giving it fermentable sugars. Keeps it lighter more so than Pilsen malt. And we use a touch of acidulated malt to adjust our pH. And lastly, we use some carapils to keep that head retention, especially for lighter beers. It's harder to get that head retention. So it's a very simple recipe. And then we take it on a fermentation profile that, like I said, a member of the Sauce Homebrew Club, Mike England, kind of showed us how to do. And we take it from 53 degrees to 62 degrees over the course of a week. We raise the temperature a couple of days, a couple of degrees every day, and we'll let it sit at 62 degrees once it's all done. And that'll be the diacetyl rest to get rid of any buttery butterscotch flavors that can develop in lagers right at the end of fermentation. So you just gotta hold them at that upper temperature in the mid-60s to let them clean up himself, and then they're no diacetyl, no butterscotch, easy drinking. So that is the process. And for this beer, how do we get the raspberries in? Well, we work with a lot of fruit because we do a lot of sours too. We've got our Exotic Matter series, our milkshake IPA that uses fruit. And this one, we used fruit also, but not nearly as much fruit as we use on the other ones. This is such a light beer base. You don't need a lot of fruit for it to come through, and you don't want the fruit to be overpowering. This is not a sweet type of a beer. It's very neutral, dry, crisp. So we used about 44 pounds of fruit into 20 barrels. So if you come in here and visit and you look at all the fermenters and the tanks, there's 44 pounds, which is about 5 gallons of raspberry puree from Oregon Fruits that we put into one of the smaller tanks that you'll see, a 20 barrel fermenter. And that gives it just color, and you get that raspberry right off the nose. That's a little more subtle on the flavor. And that is this beer in a nutshell. This is not like my other 30-minute review, the one before this. So let's take an evaluation. I like to drink Pilsners, or these, it's not a Pilsner, these light lagers in a Nonic glass or a regular pint glass right out of the can, but we'll drink it out of the glass, show you the color. I wish I would have grabbed just a regular base Arche Light to show you the color difference of this beer. So you'll see that. So you just got this light pinkish hue to it. I can smell the raspberries from here. It's so weird. A lot of our other sours and milkshake IPAs, a lot of fruit goes into them. But this one, just a touch, just because of the light beer base. So definitely get the raspberry on the nose. Just a light raspberry. There's no residual sweetness. It's a pretty dry beer. I want to keep drinking it. I just came off of a 38-minute run, and it's humid, and I'm thirsty. And this is exactly what we made it for. And let's talk about some pairings. Being a lighter, crisper beer, paired with chicken, salads, salmon, bratwurst, you know, a lot of that stuff from the grill too. Cheese pairings, mild cheddar, Havarti, and that's about it. We plan to run this through distribution all summer. We're going to change the flavors up. We've done strawberry light here. We may do one other one. That's going to be fun around July 4th. You guys remember Rocket Pop from the Valley? I know. Arche Rocket Pop Light. So that is what this beer is, and I hope you enjoyed the review, and we hope to see you in the tap room.
About to change the St. Patty's music.